Now, we've been able to play goblins in Dungeons & Dragons 5e ever since Volo's Guide to Monsters came out, but there's better goblins to play and more interesting ones in this box. We're going to explore the goblins. Hey everybody, Jordan here, the PH is silent, and today I want to talk about goblins. This is a fun mini box set that is 5e compatible. Really, this should be considered OSR, but I think it's enough of a 5e that if you have 5e players, they could totally jump in. This supplement is kind of an adventure and a new way of creating characters, but specifically those characters have to be goblins. You're going to be a gobling. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what is a gobling? Well, a gobling is, after months of being stirred in a pool of thick slime, because in this funny little bit, goblins are birthed from slime pools. Tiny goblings burst from their eggs and squirm awkwardly to the surface. This is the first stage of a goblin's life, known as a gobling. To keep their enormous heads from toppling over, a gobling will hold off growing a neck until adulthood. This is the easiest way to tell the difference between a goblin and a gobling. So I really love this. This is super fun. This is very simple. This is part of the pamphlet that I had earlier, but a guide to goblings. And it tells you the difference between, an adult goblin and a gobling. The anatomy, there's, cushioning brain juice. They have a thick skull, squashed organs, blah, blah, blah. I just love this art. You're very small. You have low speed. Your ability scores are 3d6 down the line when you're creating this. You have 1d6 hit points. But at first level, you have 6 plus your con modifier. And it shows you all the proficiency bonus and the skills and things like that. You're clumsy, slow, and less powerful than other starting characters, but you're going to have like some character growth through this adventure. So as you're leveling as a gobling, on level 1, you get 2 gobbling feats and an heirloom item, and then you have a growth spurt, a feat, another growth spurt, a feat, and then you reach adulthood where you become a full-fledged goblin. In what are heirlooms specifically? They're not fun, magical. I mean, they're precious to goblins, but they're not necessarily precious to everybody. But a ball of ears wax, seeds, cooking pot, a hand stick. I think hand sticks are very important if you're a goblin. And obviously everybody needs a rock friend, but you're going to roll randomly for this probably. We'll see. And then what are the fun feats you can take as you're leveling up? You receive 2 goblin feats at level 1 and then more at level 3 and another at level 5. Let's look at some of them. Here are D10 of goblin feats. Squidgy, your body is soft and bouncy. Bludgeoning damage you take is halved, and you bounce 15 feet away from the damage source. Stinky, you have a natural odor that wafts from you at all times. Charisma-related checks concerning other goblins gain advantage, but those made against other creatures have disadvantage. Springy, you have powerful yet unpredictable leg muscles. So whenever you jump, you get to travel 1d20 plus your athletics modifier and feet. And snotty, you produce an excess amount of snot, so twice per day as an action. You can sneeze, covering an adjacent 5-foot square in snot, and creatures passing through a snotty space must make a DC 9 dexterity save or fall prone. What about the growth spurts? Well, as your goblin is growing, he'll get some additions here. So you can roll randomly, which I always think is more fun. You can roll randomly for this, or you can choose, I guess. But D6 effect, your ears will give you +2 wisdom or dexterity. Your eyes will give you charisma or intelligence. Your nose will give you dexterity or constitution. Your arms, strength or dexterity. Head, intelligence, constitution, strength or dexterity for legs. And then an extra to perception checks, investigation checks, things like that. So now you've built your goblin. What are you going to do? Well, you're going to go on a whimsical goblin adventure. Whimsical goblin adventure. This will tarry all of your characters. You'll start with the birth of your character, and then what you need to do as a goblin, and then the final bit. So this entire adventure is being born, going out into the world and finding various gifts for the queen goblin. So in the world of the goblins, there is one giant queen goblin, and all of the other goblins are spawned from them that kind of spawn up out of the goblin pools. And you need to make the queen happy and appease her with gifts. But she's a goblin. She might enjoy that stinky sock or that pet rock or things like that. So this is really This is really fun. This is the Queen's Taste. So every time you run this adventure, you can roll a d10 and randomly pick the color and the shape and the property of the items that you're going to find, and that is what the queen really, really wants, but the goblins don't know that. They kind of have like general tastes in mind, and you might be able to ask other people during this adventure to get clues of like, oh, the queen really liked our shiny object, but they did not like the flat object, so don't give her the shiny, like the mirror. It's flat and shiny. She'll like the shiny, but she'll hate the flat part. And here are some previous gifts that were offered to the queen. These are all weird concoctions that the goblins, your goblin, will put together to try and make the queen happy. It all begins in a spawning pool. So you get to run around, kind of explore the nest a little bit. This is a really fun cutaway of the goblin nest. If we scroll down here, we can see a pixelated goblin queen sitting in her in her royal chamber, being kept moist with various slime being thrown on top of her. And here she is again in the royal chamber. The goblin queen lounges in a shallow pool of bubbling green liquid attended by a dozen or so nervous-looking assistants. There are some people trapped in the dungeon. You can talk to them and get maybe some clues about what the queen wants or treasures specifically. And then the gathering phase, this is you as a goblin. You got to go out in the world and start your own life. So you're going to leave and you're going to have a D12 of forest encounters. And all of these areas are places for you to go and find more gifts for the queen and kind of collaborate and build it together. And as you come back into the world of the goblins, you're going to come back to the goblin cave, you're going to get your gift ready. And this is hilarious. There's a full ceremony that happens with the goblins turning into adult goblins, and you have to go to the queen and present her with your chicken in a bucket on top of some stilts and hope that this face really enjoys what you brought it. There is some fun judgments. You could get punished, you could get rewarded. Let's look at the rewards. You could get showered with an enormous glob of snot and saliva from the queen's mouth. An individual of your choice must be chosen to be put into a dungeon so you can get rid of your rival. You can get a toenail crown from the Majesty's own clippings. Some of the punishments is you could go back to the slime pool to finish growing because you just did not perform as you should have. You could get poked with long sticks by the nest's 6 most elderly goblins. Just don't stop it. And you get a really, really great title. We have a D12 for the title part 1 and part 2, so you could be Rock Puncher. You could be Butt Poker. You could be Ear Chucker.
Punch Rock Groin.
Buck Plank Chest.
Stump Junkman.
Dirk Hardpeck.
Rip Steak Face.
Here is a list of all of the fun treasures that you can find, which is included in the adventure box that I have here. And of course, we have the monsters and the various other things that you can fight and explore and see. And here's some additional characters. These are the characters that you could use as NPCs if you wanted to while creating it. And I just love the art, and it's so silly and fun. And of course, we have the character sheet at the end. Now, you could run this as just kind of like a fun adventure to go through and then be done. Or if you really want to, you could run this as an introductory adventure that your goblins then go on after they reach their peak level of goblinness. They could move on and become all kinds of, or go into like a more traditional adventure. I love stuff like this. So I believe it said that if you get to level 6 of your goblin levels, you become essentially a level 3 character, and you can choose whatever class you want at that point and kind of move into being that class. And I think that is a great idea. It comes with these excellent maps and a whole bunch of stickers and things like that. Oh, and this is something I thought was really fun too. There are little adventures that are like built as pamphlets. And so here is a small little natural cave that you can explore that has some various things in it. And this is another goblin adventure called Train Checkers, where you're on a train and you have to do various trainy things. And this isn't sponsored or anything. I just really like stuff like this, and I review it. And so if you think this is improving the tabletop world such as I do, you should go check it out. I'll put a link down in the description. I want to thank again all of my awesome patrons for supporting me and supporting the channel and the work that I do. And I want to thank you for subscribing and being awesome. Let me know if I should gather a group of misfits and we should run the Goblins and stream it. That would be really, really fun. As always, I'm Jordan with Silent PH in the middle, and I'll see you all in the next video.